Hi my loves! So today I'm going to be doing a first impression video, but a first impression of a bunch of different drugstore makeup. So I have like foundations, some concealers, I have some contour products to try for you guys today. It's really going to be a bunch of different makeup that I've seen at the drugstore recently, and I really just was super intrigued to try out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not going to ramble on in the intro, so if you want to see my first impression on a bunch of new drugstore makeup, just keep on watching. Alrighty, so to start off, I already have the tops of my eyes done and my brows. I'm going to go ahead and start with foundation first. The foundation I'm trying today is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. I have this in the shade Golden Beige Medium Warm. I picked this up at my local drugstore. It's around $5 or $6. It does have 1 fluid ounce of product. It comes in a glass bottle. I don't know how many shades they have, but they do have a decent amount of shades, and the packaging actually is different than what I was expecting. It has this like weird spatula kind of thing. I'm not sure how I'm gonna like it, just because I feel like it's probably gonna be a pain in the ass when you start to get down to like the end of the product, but for now it should be fine. So I'm gonna start off, and let me grab my mirror. I've seen people apply this just with the little spatula thing, so I think that's how I'm gonna do it today, which is just to kind of dot or swipe a bit of the product onto the skin, and I'll start just with like one of my cheeks first, just because I'm not sure how fast this is gonna dry. And the way that I apply my foundation is always with the Real Techniques Miracle Blending Sponge, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use this today and just kind of pounce this in. So I finished blending out just that one area of my face. I did zoom in a little bit, so hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. I don't think it gives me like a full coverage finish. I would say it's more of like a light to medium, maybe slightly buildable. I'm gonna have to test that out in a second. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like with just one layer. The color is pretty nice for me. I'm around an NC25 in MAC. I think this will work for you if you're also similar to that shade. The finish is more of a matte finish, and it feels very lightweight on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all, so it's actually pretty nice, I think, so far. So we're gonna see if it builds up, and I'm gonna finish applying it to the rest of my face. So let me finish that, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So now that I have the foundation applied all over my face, I actually do really like it. I think that it is buildable coverage. It starts off around like a light to medium. It's not like super light, where I would say it's kind of like a tinted moisturizer similar to like the MAC Face and Body foundation, but I do think it's lighter coverage in the sense that you do see some imperfections peeking through, some redness, but then after you apply a second layer, I do think it is a decent medium coverage. Now, do I think this is the fullest full coverage ever? No, but I think that once you apply concealers and other products on your face, it's gonna give you a full coverage look. So my personal preference is actually like a medium buildable coverage. That's like my favorite style to work with, because they tend to be not as heavy on the skin, but they do provide the coverage that you want, especially after you've done with like your concealers and your powders and things like that. I do think that it worked well on my dry skin, so I would definitely say if you have dry skin, you can still try this out and it would work really nice for you. The color is really nice. I would say it's around an NC30, NC25 to NC30 would be good for this color. So yeah, so let's move on into the next products that I wanted to test out today. So the 2 products I was going to try out are 2 by NYX. Now, I've used this concealer before, but I wanted to try different colors to use them more of like color correcting concealers instead of like a just standard skin tone concealer. So I picked up 2. I have the yellow one, which I'm going to try to highlight with today. And then I have the shade medium, which is more of like a peachy tone color. It is more of a skin tone color, but compared to my skin, it's very peachy toned. So I feel like this is gonna look a lot more like a color correcting shade. So I'm gonna do the medium first, and then I'm gonna go over it with the yellow to highlight and brighten the face. So starting off, I'm gonna take a little bit of this product and just apply this. As you can see, it is very peachy for my skin. I'm just going to apply a little bit underneath my eye. Why does it feel like something's poking me? It feels like something's poking me. Once I have it applied, I'm just going to go ahead with my same sponge and blend it out. Throughout the center of my face and then a little bit underneath my eyes just to brighten them a little bit, I'm going to take the yellow shade of this concealer and I'm going to first just start applying this down the center of my nose, through the center of the forehead, my chin, and then just slightly underneath the eyes. Now this yellow one does seem to have more of a thin consistency compared to the other one, but hopefully it'll still give the brightening effect. And then again, just with my same sponge, start to blend it out. I know I look a little bit crazy right now. I went ahead and set underneath my eyes with some powder, but I do want to cream contour today, so I actually didn't set the rest of my face. Today I wanted to try out the Wet n Wild Megaglo Makeup Contour Sticks. Now, I picked up 3 shades, and I do believe these are the only 3 shades of contouring sticks, but they do have some that are blush sticks. There are some that are highlighting ones that have some shimmer, and then I do think they have highlighting ones that are more just like a matte kind of concealer color. I only picked up the contouring shades because I just personally feel like I'd get the most use out of these compared to the other ones, but there are a bunch of other colors that you can choose from. So the 3 that I picked up are, and I'll swatch these for you guys. Where's the name of this? Call Me Maple number 805. So this is the shade. And then swatching it on the back. That's that one. And then I picked up the shade 804 Oaks on You. Photofocus. There you go. This one's the lightest one of the ones that I picked up. It's more of like a caramel color. The other one has a lot more red to it. And then the last one is the darkest shade, which is 806 Where's Walnut. So that's the name of it. And this is the shade. So the darkest and most like bronzer color, in my opinion, or more contoury color. I think the red will look more of like a bronzer along with this one right here. And then this one I think is going to give you the most definition. So I actually think today, since my makeup is a little bit warmer, I think I'll try the lightest one first and then we'll see how they blend out. Now I did apply these to the back of my hand the other day just to kind of test them out, and they do feel very, very creamy, and I'll blend them out for you guys so you can see they blend out very far, and they do dry down to kind of a matte finish from what I could tell. There's no shimmer in them, so it's not going to give like any type of sparkle, but I do think that they're going to look really, really nice as a contouring stick. So I'm gonna try this one out, and the way that they kind of spin up is like just from the bottom. You don't have to sharpen it or anything, and this comes with 6 grams of product and it retails for around $3 or $4, so it's kind of inexpensive and it gets a decent amount of product. So the way that I'm going to apply this today, I think I want to do a little bit along my nose. Now this is not going to be the most perfect or precise because the kind of application end of it is really wide. You might be able to do this better if you kind of just took it onto a brush and then applied it to your nose, but I kind of just wanted to see how it applied onto my skin first. So I did that, and then I'm gonna do a line underneath on my cheekbones and then a bit along my forehead and along my jaw. And that's in places that I normally contour, so I'm going to go ahead and close that up, grab my trusty sponge again, and just start blending these out. Now, I start blending the areas that I want the least amount of product first. The reason is because as your sponge starts to absorb product, it's not going to pick up as much of the product. So if I say I want less product here along my jawline, I'll start blending here first, and then by the time I get to the areas where I want the color to be most opaque, there'll be a bit of product on the sponge, so it won't soak up as much of it. It'll leave a little bit more on the skin. I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blending this out along the rest of my face. This actually blends out really, really easily. Like, I don't know if you can tell, it just leaves a very nice, like, light bronzy glow. I'm sure if I used one of the darker shades, it would be a little bit more, like, crisp or more contoured looking, but I kind of like the idea of just doing more of like a bronzy look today. And then let's see how it blends out on the nose. And this actually does blend out really nice over foundation. I don't know if it's just because these are like two of their newer products, so they might be formulated to work together, but it does blend out really, really nicely. Like, I hope you guys are able to see it. It blends beautifully over the foundation. Sometimes I've tried some other cream, like cheek products that really don't blend well over foundation. Like, I'd have to use them underneath the foundation to get them to look nice. Otherwise, they just pick up too much product and it ends up making my foundation look really patchy. But these look really, really nice. So the next step that I wanted to try out is a new powder. This one is by Wet n Wild as well. It's their Coverall press powder. This one is not new at all. It did come out when they released their Coverall cream foundation, which I absolutely love. I do have a review on it. I will link it somewhere in the YouTube cards. But I wanted to try this one today since I did hear a lot of good things about this powder, but I was never a huge fan of pressed powders. I honestly really just like loose translucent powders. They work the best for me. I think they don't look as cakey on my skin, but I heard good things about this and it was on sale for $1.39, so I figured I'd pick it up. So I'm going to take this onto a flat elf brush. This is my favorite for applying powder, and I'm just going to stipple a little bit of this product. I'm not picking up that much at all onto the brush, and then I'm just going to apply this onto my skin to set the foundation. Now the foundation has like a slight tacky feel, but it's not to the point where I think you can't get away with just setting like your under eyes or like your T-zone. I definitely think if you're somebody who doesn't like to set your foundation, you wouldn't need to do it with this. So let me just set my face and I will move on to the rest of my makeup. So finally, now that I have the rest of my face applied, I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on all of these products. So recommendations, do I think that you guys should try it out, whether or not they're good, how they applied, things like that. So first things first, the foundation that I applied, I do recommend this. I think this would work for a variety of different skin types. It feels very nice on the skin. It's a demi-matte finish. It's very lightweight. It gives decent coverage and it's only like $5 or $6. So definitely a recommend. Next product that I tried out, the NYX HD concealer. I really do like this concealer. I do have it in the shade 04 Beige, but I did try out other colors today just to kind of give myself more of a variety and see how it would work for more of a color correcting type of concealer. I do still love it. The formula is really great. The only one that I would say is you're gonna have to learn how to work with it is the yellow concealer. This one's a little bit thinner than the other ones. I do think that it doesn't have as much of a color payoff, but for highlighting the face, it's still really, really nice. So I recommend the NYX HD concealers. They're only $5 and they work really well. Moving on to the contour sticks. I actually really, really do love these. I think that they're very good beginner-friendly contouring cream products. I personally am not somebody who loves cream products on the face as far as like blush and highlight and bronzer, but I do think that these are really nice. They give a nice finish. They don't like set down so fast to the point where like you have to just apply a little bit and then blend it out really fast, apply a little bit and blend it out. You can actually just apply it all over your face and go ahead and blend it out, and it's not gonna set down so that you're having a hard time blending it. I think that they're a great price point. They're only about $4. You get 6 grams of product, which I think is a decent amount of product, and then the ease of use for the fact that they're a stick cream product instead of like in a pan where you would have to use a separate brush. I think that these all around are great. They're beginner friendly. They're just amazing. I definitely recommend these. Now moving on to the last 3 products. The first one I did show in the video. It's the Coverall Press Powder by Wet n Wild. I think it's a good powder. I don't think it's my favorite, even as press powders go. I just need to get my footing with how to use a press powder the best. I feel like press powders don't set the face as nicely as I would like. I think translucent, loose powders really soak up any extra moisture from your foundation. These, in my opinion, kind of set it so that it won't move, but I feel feel like they settle into my lines and things like that a lot easier than translucent powder. So I'm gonna mess with it a little bit more. Right now, it's just a decent powder. It's not my favorite. And then another thing that I was kind of a little disappointed by was the Covergirl Professional Super Thick Lash. Now, this I got just because it was on a sale. I got it for around $2. It looks like this. It's just a standard mascara wand. I don't personally love this. It works decently. It applies nicely. It gives you decent definition and extra length, but I don't think that it's one of those mascaras that I want to run out and buy all the time and that I need to have on hand all the time. So this for me is kind of a dud. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you can find it on a sale like I did. Now the last product I do like, and I do have a few other versions of this. This is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with Aloe. This is the one that has a brush-on adhesive, so it looks like this. And I did use it to apply my lashes today. Now these lashes are not my favorite. They are by, I think, Andrea. I could be wrong. I did get them at Ulta. I do have to cut them in half because the bands are so thick that it's such a pain to try and get the full lash on my eyes. I don't think they sit on my eyes that nicely. Even with cutting them in half, they're still not my favorite. And since they are a pain in the ass, I figured I'd try them with this to see if I really do like this. And I would say I haven't worn it throughout the day to see if it lasts as long as my other ones, but I do think that it applies really nicely and it's a lot easier because it has the brush on applicator. So I will test this out more, but I do think I love it because it does apply a lot easier than the other ones. It's less of a hassle and it's a lot less like a lot less messy to use, because the other ones I do have to squeeze out onto the back of my hand, then apply them to my lash, and then apply my lash, so it's a lot more messy. This one is clear also. It's not the black version. I don't think they have a brush-on adhesive that is a black one, but they do have a very good, like, regular, looks like the duo tubes in a black version, and that one is one of my favorite lash glues. Like, honestly, it is my favorite at this point. It works really well. It lasts really nicely. I definitely recommend it. So this one I definitely think is also a good recommendation in my book. I would definitely say go out and try this. Alrighty, so that's it for my first impressions of a bunch of different drugstore makeup. I think I got a pretty good amount of good buys today. I only had maybe one or two things that weren't up to par with what I was expecting them to be, but for the most part, a lot of them worked out beautifully. I really do recommend a lot of these products, and they're drugstore, so they're very inexpensive. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and then it would also let you guys know when I post any new videos. If you are subscribed to me already, even if you're not, definitely like this video because it shows me what kind of videos you guys are interested in seeing. And then also, if you're subscribed to me, definitely hit the notification button. I'm not really like one to know too much about YouTube, but as far as I know, sometimes YouTubers aren't getting notified when like people they're subscribed to post videos, so that I know is a way to make sure that you get notified. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to push anything on you, but it would definitely help me out because you guys would get notified of my videos right away. So other than that, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, everybody.